Let's step on board with telemetry and delta time with Daniel Ricciardo at the roller coaster ride that is Spa-Francorchamps. Preparing his great lap, Ricciardo is being forced to wait slightly for the traffic coming through the final chicane, which is not going to pay dividends for him in the first corner. You see the throttle trace fall away a little bit later, the brake trace go a little bit deeper. He's given away some apex speed due to having slightly colder front tyres on his great lap and given himself some work to do. A more direct route through Eau Rouge is what he needs to try to recover a bit of this straight line speed. He heads more shallowly into the first part of Eau Rouge and crests the rise in Radion in a more direct manner, taking speed onto the straight. We are before the 2020 regulation change, banning engine mode changes between quali and race, so maybe a little more juice to use down to Les Combes. That being said, he manages to brake slightly later into Les Combes, some 10 metres or so, connecting perfectly with the first apex, whereas on his good lap he was slightly wide. Being a little out of the groove on his good lap means that Ricciardo has to have a couple of stabs at steering into the second part of Les Combes and loses a little bit of time. A shorter, sharper lift though into Malmedy and a little bit of extra curb on the exit recovers the speed that's lost on the good lap, and they're pretty much on as even down to the Bruxelles hairpin. Neither car appears to quite connect with the apex, and it's nip and tuck as well through turn 9 with both cars using all the road and more on the exit. The big high-speed challenge in the middle of the lap is Pouhon, and it's on as even as they both connect with the apex, the good and the great lap both making it work through the downforce limited section. But there's a much later breaking point for turn 12 and turn 13 on the great lap, which is the first major technical change. Ricciardo also holds the car in right next to the white line and gives himself a nice turn in to turn 13, allowing him to hold a bit more throttle on as he glides over the exit curbs, which the Renault seems to handle remarkably well. He's right on the knife edge of rear locking for the first part of Stavelot. You see him commit the car on the great lap, and then here, bang, has to get right on top of a little stab of oversteer as he goes through the exit. He climbs all over the outside curbs on both laps and then has to manage the front axle as he bounces back across and commits the car to the second part of Stavelot. Plenty of space on the exit though, and he can use the outside curb as a get out of jail 3 card as he heads to the next flat out portion of the lap. There are still marginal gains to be made. This little bit of extra track used through the curb pull Frere allows him to shorten and widen the track, asking the car to do less work and asking the front tyres to scrub less across the road, saving a little bit of time for Ricciardo as he heads down to the final big braking zone. He is so much later, an animal on the brakes into the final chicane. Manages to find the apex though on his great lap and rolls good speed through. He turns in what appears to be more shallowly to the second part of the chicane, and as soon as he needs to put the throttle on, bang, the steering wheel goes absolutely straight and he drives the car out over the exit curb, whereas on his good lap he tries much harder to keep the car in. Utilising all that new tyre grip that he has underneath him, he gets a bit of wheel spin but gets the DRS open on the left hand paddle. That's Ricciardo starting P4 for the Belgian Grand Prix, where he would finish on Sunday afternoon.